it's just how people use something and how that can be how people also wish to like suppress things that are very how should I say this? They try to like suppress knowledge is what I mean to say.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
I've seen people think that certain books should be banned just because how it's associated with. Oh yeah, what it is associated with. One of my things that comes to my mind is the book of sorry, his name escapes me right now. Is Friedrich Nietzsche, his theory of the ubermensch.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, Nietzsche, of course, was used, his work was corrupted
Yes.
after his death by his sister to serve as Nazi propaganda.
Exactly.
But what he's talking about is not that there is a master race of people. No. He's talking about is that we as humans should become our own masters.
Yeah.
Not become masters of other humans, but masters of our own destiny. Not to rely on morality systems that have been outdated, like religion. That's what he means when he says that God is death. But
And we have
remains
killed
death.
him. Yeah.
We have murdered him. Yes, exactly.
This is a lot of people I've met knows I admire the way he explains the ubermensch, because and also there are some people that has twisted his words in a slightly different way, but not quite in the same way. It's always moving forward, basically. Always do what you can to make yourself better. Even if you don't succeed, you still tried, and that's what makes you an ubermensch.
Exactly.
There are some
from the worms.
There are some people who kind of misinterpreted it, saying that the ubermensch, well, one, of course, the Nazis, but also how the ubermensch is a person that has achieved everything. That's not true. It's a
no.
Yeah. I've seen it like a couple times online. It's a bit shocking how often I see it, but yes, it's how a person should proceed, push themselves forward. And funny enough, that's how a lot of people are doing right now with, okay, this is a very weird ass connection, but it's how some VTubers have done it. I know there's a super weird connection, but don't worry, this makes sense to me at least. How VTubers perceive the ubermensch, which is, a lot of us don't have money, let's be honest.
Sure.
A lot of us are broke. So
oh yeah,
what VTubers have done is, I cannot afford a person to edit my VODs. I cannot afford a person to draw my backgrounds. I cannot afford a person to create my model. So what do? I do it myself. This person, even though that their work isn't great, they still gain the knowledge and progress themselves forward. If that's not an ubermensch, well, you're wrong. That's exactly what ubermensch means. Even if they don't succeed like fully, they are still moving forward, and I think that deserves people's respects.
I agree. I mean, I started making real money, if I can call it that, after becoming a VTuber. And the way that I did it is not because my streams were getting thousands of viewers, making thousands of dollars of donations. No. Because I found something I was good at. It was, of course, making the logos, making the overlays, making the backdrops. And that's something I did because I couldn't afford someone else to do them. But as people noticed my work, they started requesting it. They started commissioning me. and I was happy to oblige. Of course, eventually that meant I didn't have to use the model I had done myself. Could get Parsley to make a model for me. Now I have multiple models in the works. I mean, am I rich now? No, of course not. The money I get from VTubing, of course, it goes to paying my bills and then to improve myself, the VTuber.
Yeah, exactly. We did what we could with what we had, and now we are progressing. We did what we can to show off our business. By the way, where can they reach you if they are interested in a VTuber model, of course? I mean, a VTuber logo.
I did make my own model. I'm not confident enough to make a model for someone else. Not right now. Yeah, Twitter. Twitter is my main way to contact me. If you looking for someone to design the graphics for your stream, whether it's overlays, logos, static alerts, I do some animations, but not many. You can go to twitter.com/elchupalabras. That's ELCHUPALABRAS.
Okay, so to all the viewers, the link is of course in the chat if you want to go check that out.
But, thank you, I appreciate that.
No problem. But yeah, that's just what a lot of VTubers do. Of course, this isn't to say that the VTubers who pay their way to get like really good models aren't ubermensch in their own right, because they definitely have the reason why they can afford this is they definitely learn skills that are valuable to people, and they use that to gain money, and they use that to, of course, afford to pay other people for doing things. So they are ubermensch. They are ubermensch in a different way.
If there is a VTuber out there, it's a trust fund baby that has paid it their way to have the best model, the best logo, the best overlays. Maybe that person exists.
Yes.
Maybe that person cannot be. Who's to say? To say this is on their way to try to actually surpass themselves and overcome whatever they have in their heads. Even those big VTubers that belong to agencies like Hololive or Negisanji, they have to apply to work there. They have to continuously try to improve themselves to become exactly what those agencies were looking for. Yeah, afterwards they were provided with a logo, an overlay, a model, a platform. But they didn't come from nowhere. They weren't conjured out of thin air. They deserve it.
Yes, they
are entertainers.
Prove
they
themselves.
Are professionals. Exactly.
I suppose that whole side of things just ends up like clouding people's judgments when jealousy is in the way, I suppose, or envy. I mean, well, I suppose those both work.
Both.
I suppose that's just something that small VTubers such as you and myself, of course, just have to realize about these things, because there is people online anyway, generally speaking, who don't like somebody just because of their success, because they don't understand that work does have to be like applied to that, and they did like work their way up to becoming those kinds of people. One of the people I do really admire, who I really keep like using as example, is Iron Mouse.
Of course. I mean, who can look at Iron Mouse and not think that she has put out all of the world and even more?
She is really an inspiration for ubermensch. She learned the skill of VTubing way before like any of us, and she developed a way of being entertaining in her own way and not copying from other people. She is
Exactly.
like, she is an OG in a way of VTubing. And her rise is well deserved. And that's why people watch her, because she is not only entertaining to watch, she learned to be entertaining to watch. And that's what makes, like, that's a very good difference between, let's say, a funny video versus a funny person.
Of course, of course.